Guys, good morning. It's Thursday. We are back here. NFL is back. Lions, Packers tonight. Should be a great game. Should be a really, really, really fun game to watch. Packers are actually like an ideal team to be in a dome. The way they play offense, they would actually thrive in a dome. They have really good records in a dome. They beat the Lions last year in Detroit on Thanksgiving. Kind of started their run. They beat Detroit handily. Detroit spanked them earlier this year in the rain. It's like Detroit plays this grind it offensive line, like just dominant two running backs. They belong outdoors in bad weather, and that's what happened earlier this year in Green Bay. Bad weather, and the Lions look more comfortable. Their strong safety, one of their best players, if not the best player now with Hutchinson out, Brian Branch was ejected from the game for a targeting hit, and the Lions still kicked their ass. It was an ugly game for Jordan Love. Now the Packers are rolling. They feel good about themselves, and they head to Detroit, where, like I said, they're comfortable in the dome. With that offense, those receivers, give them clean weather. That's why the spread's only 3.5 tonight. The Lions, I think, are starting to finally miss Aiden Hutchinson. I said earlier when he first got hurt, their star defensive end, that they would play with adrenaline and kind of just make up for it. They did get Zadarius Smith as a trade acquisition, former Raven. But at this point, the way the Bears were able to move the ball in the second half, I'm still a little bitter about it. It had the under for their total points. It showed me not a great sign there for the Lions defense. Was it, did they just get lazy? I don't know, but not a great sign there as Caleb Williams picked them apart. I think the game should be high scoring tonight. It's 51 points. It's a Thursday night game. I don't know. I'm like gun shy these past two games I've lost here, Sunday night and then Monday night. And I don't have a strong opinion on this one because it feels like a 50-50 game. And the Packers are a hard team to get a read on. They haven't played anybody great. They dominated Miami in the cold on Thanksgiving, so I don't really know what that means. Both teams, it's not a short week because they played on Thanksgiving. So it's a regular, it's just hard. It's not a normal type of situation. If anything, I'm probably more comfortable betting, more in the second half once I see the first half. I'll look at the props a little bit more. I expect the Packers offense to be able to move the ball. And same thing with Detroit. Whether or not they actually score in the red zone is it's going to be a tight game, but I think both teams should be able to move the ball fairly easily. So that's where I'm leaning. Get into more of that when I have the picks out. But yeah, that's the game tonight. Lions and the Packers. I think it's fair to say the Lions are in the playoffs. Packers are pretty much there. They win the night. You can definitely put them in there. Lions got to play Buffalo the following week. So this is a big little mini test for the Lions before they go on their playoff run these next 2 weeks. So, all right. College basketball is not off to a great start for me yesterday. Okay. So Kansas loses to Creighton. The worst thing for sports betting, I know you guys can relate to this, is when you didn't go with your favorite bet of the game and you tried to play it safe. And that's exactly what I did yesterday. I liked Creighton to score. I liked Creighton. But I'm like, Kansas just hasn't lost. It's a 4-point spread. I Kansas, Kansas is so they're just rock solid. What if it's like a 2 3-point game and then they get the free throws at the end? I'll just take the over. That's the safer bet. Just take the over. And then Creighton comes out. They score 41 in the first half and they go on the win by 13. They only had to score 35 in the second half because Kansas just could not score. They could not make a shot. They shot 35% from the field. The worst part about it is they started the second half on a 7-0 run. So it was 41-38, basically, with 18 and a half minutes left. At that point, I think it was 158 and a half was the live over bet. And I'm at 151 and a half. So I felt really good. And then Creighton just put the clamps on. Kansas could not score. And if I just would have taken Creighton yesterday, it'd be a win, but tried to play it safe instead of just going with my gut there. And yeah, so I'm on the wrong side of that. But I vow to be better in college basketball. I think I'm going to really do well. I'm going to ease into it because there's a lot of different things that I want to consider. Like, do I want to follow one or two teams? I know I tried that with baseball and it just was not successful. I feel like with basketball, it'll be better because they only play 2 games a week and I have a better frankly, understanding of basketball than I do of baseball. It's just easier for me. I coach. So that's where I'm leaning towards, especially after losing the first game last night. So I'll make that decision as we go on here. But just on a slight personal note, I'm getting married at the end of the not slight personal note, I'm getting married at the end of the year. We're moving in 4 or 5 months, so there's a lot of moving parts for me, and I don't want to just give out games just to have games be given out. So if I like something, if I'm betting on it, I'll certainly share it. That's the point of the company, not for me just to give out games. However, with that being said, well, not really, however, sorry, my transitions are off today. Maryland basketball yesterday. That's what I want to talk about. That's where I should have bet on. I just bet Maryland basketball yesterday. They were so dominant. If you didn't watch, I suggest you watch it at least the first half because, especially if you have any kids and you're trying to teach basketball, that was a coaching clinic. That was an absolute defensive, just gem of a performance yesterday. Ohio State's good. Like they're not a bad basketball team at all. It's at 50-17 at halftime. Like something absolutely absurd. Maryland's defense was all over the place. They were so fun to watch. They were so fun to watch that I'm just like a little bitter about it because I'm like, why not just bet Maryland? This is way more fun than this Kansas Creighton game that I'm staring at here in the second half. But Maryland basketball is just, man, Kevin Willard really won me over yesterday. I knew I liked him when we first hired him because I'd watched a lot of Seton Hall basketball and I liked the way they played. And then the problem the first couple of years was he basically was playing the same way the Maryland was playing the same way Seton Hall was playing, just not as strong and worse shooting. But like Kevin Willard wants to play defensive basketball. He wants to pressure the ball, no free dribbles, get in your face, make you earn everything. He's super intense. He's got his guys. His press conference after the game won me over even more. It's exactly what I want to hear from a coach. He gave you straight answers. He talked about what was going on in practice. And then he specifically talked about individual players and what their roles are. And it's just obvious to me that the guys on Maryland know what their roles are. And it starts with the freshman, Derek Queen. Willard's like, yeah, he's a pro. He won't be here in a few months. Like we're in such a different time where now coaches benefit by just saying that out loud for recruiting purposes. It's like, yeah, we know he's leaving anyway. I'd rather look like the coach that's supporting the player instead of, we'll call it the John Calipari effect. Just like, yeah, you'll just be one and done. It's fine. So that's a conversation for another day as far as if that's beneficial for the kids. But Derek Queen fits. He is an NBA pro, and to listen to Willard talk about him was just fascinating. He knows every play. He knows where everybody's supposed to be. That was my takeaway from the game was the press conference afterwards, and just listening to Willard talk about Julian Reese's adjustment. The first time he's ever had to teach these type of defensive rotations with two bigs. All teams run pick and roll. So Maryland was switching a lot of pick and roll. Now they don't because Derek Queen, he's like an NBA center. Like he's just an NBA big guy. He really knows what he's doing. He can hedge enough on it that you don't have to completely switch it. Reese, you got to give him credit. He's going to play in the NBA. And part of playing in the NBA is understanding your role. You're now not the best player on the team. How does that work? And then you just talk about the guards, all these new guys they brought in. We'd be here all day. They just played great defense, suffocated Ohio State. He shared after the game that DeJuan Harris-Smith, the guy that comes off the bench, could start and how he's adjusted to that. Just a lot of great stuff. So awesome with Maryland basketball yesterday. They are certainly headed in the right direction. And we'll be having more college basketball in here as we go. Not a ton of NBA. I just can't get excited about it. J Mart's going to have his bets. I'm looking to bring an NBA guy on, but to be blunt, if it's just a gambling situation, that's why I haven't brought someone on. I mean, there's tons of people to bring on that bet, but I need you to educate on basketball. If it's just gambling or you think you found a formula or some nonsense like that, I just don't. Yeah, I'm not interested. And that's what I wanted to end the pod with. I think it's been a little while since I've said this. So spend a couple minutes as like a nice infomercial here, reminder to not support people that are selling you picks, right? Like if you want to bet, especially now as we're getting to Christmas time, and you're trying to find a way to make some extra money, and you think you can do it by betting on sports. I'm here to tell you, good luck. I hope you can do it. Please don't pay anybody for any sort of picks or get free picks, or even if it's $20 or $50 or something that seems cheap. And the reason is I've been reminded again by something that just happened in this industry. I'm going to share a lot more of this stuff here going into the new year, but just another company that has been shown to basically let you come in the door for free picks. You sign up for an email to get free picks. Well, how could that be a bad thing, right? And so once you get that email, fine, you get your free picks, great, and then you can expect another email saying, "Oh, buy this, buy that," fine. But the real scam, the way that they really, really get you, and what this company did that was even more exploitative than anything I've seen before, is that once you got your free picks and they gave it to you, they've been found to own another company where that company then would solicit you for picks and already knew all of your information and was able to give you the opposite games that you were getting as the free picks. So they were able to produce winning records like 3-0, 4-0 simply by giving you the opposite game. But instead of doing this old school opposite game by having a sales guy call you in the same office, that's kind of stuff that I'm aware of. This was even more sophisticated, which is the company that was giving out the free picks and saying, "Hey, here's free picks." They weren't sending you an email saying, "Hey, buy our $10 day pass or our $500 this or our 30." They didn't do any of that. They just kept giving you your free picks. So people were happy to keep receiving it. It didn't cost anything. They would see if you opened up the email. They obviously knew what games they were giving you. And then a completely other company that you would have no idea was affiliated slash owned by that other company that's giving you the free picks was then giving you free picks of the opposite sides in a sophisticated manner that you weren't able to necessarily pick up that it was the opposite company. And they were able to give you a game here, a game there. Not everybody can go 3-0 or 4-0, but when there's so many names and so many potential customers, just by law of averages, if you're the technology is there that you can just somebody's going to go 3-0. That's the point. I know I'm not doing the best job of explaining it right now. It's just I get overwhelmed thinking about how screwed up this is. And there's so many different sophisticated ways that I already knew of that people were doing. And now this is like a whole nother, just by doing it free. And I think what they've realized is that if you don't charge anybody anything, you'll get them to open up the email. Excuse me. So don't open up these emails. Don't subscribe to any free picks. Do yourself a favor. Just do not do it. I'm telling you, if you want to pay for somebody to give you picks, I just reach out to me ahead of time. I'm happy to discuss with you why you want to do it and share with you alternatives, because that's the whole point of why I'm still doing this with this company and why I'm trying to figure out the next chapter, because I never planned on giving out my picks ever, like to begin with. And what I've realized now is that everybody wants picks, and that giving it to them for free, people think that they're beating the system by getting these free picks, and then they end up subjecting themselves to the world of scammers. And so I am desperately trying to figure out how to help people betting on sports without the business model being, "Hey, I know who's going to win the games. I know who's going to win the games," or "the guy I'm bringing on, they know who's going to win the games." That is not the answer. So I know I've talked about this before, but I just felt the need to get this off my chest again today, because this company's not going anywhere, and I'm going to figure out how to make sure that I'm threading the needle of having people come on here to give out their picks and be passionate about it and be confident about it, while delivering the message to you guys to not follow it. Like, I know that might sound a little contradictory to somebody that doesn't listen to me enough, But if you're actually paying attention to what I'm saying, it does make sense because nobody knows who's going to win the games. So if you're taking the easy way out by having somebody come on here or reading about anybody who's an expert on betting on sports, I just want to share the final thing. If you want a solution, if you're really trying to make money betting on sports, I'm telling you, the only way to do it is to do your own research, and do it with the available information from the folks that actually cover the team. Like that's how you get your information. You need to have a good opinion yourself, and then you need to get information. You need to listen to the press conferences. You need to listen to the players. You need to realize that the more information, the better. If you're like, no, I don't want all that. I'd rather just have fun with it, then just do it for money you don't care about. If you don't want to do all that work, then yeah, just hopefully you get lucky. Hopefully your raw opinion is good enough that you don't have to do all the research. But if you don't think it's going to it's a full-time job, and then you're still guessing, trying to figure out what grown men are going to do on a football field or a basketball court or a baseball diamond, you're kidding yourself. So the only thing you can do is follow people that are covering the game, that you enjoy their opinions, that you trust their judgment. Rock for the Orioles is the best example. I really enjoy listening to him. I really enjoy reading his articles. He's there every day, and he never tells me if the Orioles are going to win or not. He never predicts that. So, all right, end of the rant, but just wanted, I appreciate everybody that's listening. So if you're still with me, I certainly appreciate that. And I'm going to hopefully have a way better weekend than I've had the past few days. It's been a tough couple of days. Looking forward to getting back on track. Woo. All right, cool. Have a good day, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. It'll have Clayton and J Mart with me. Jack and I are doing a pod, so a lot of stuff coming. See you guys.